Are you tired of feeling limited based on your environment and the projection of other people? Stay tuned because I'm going to share with you 4 ways that you can use this full moon in Pisces in order to help you take the lid off of your limitations. Hello, fellow flames. In case we haven't met, my name is Dr. Harmony, and I will help you live fearless, live loved, and live free. In this energy update, we're going to talk about the super full moon in Pisces and the energy that you can expect to experience during this timeline, and also how you can capture that energy to step into the recreation of your new identity. That is the theme for this full moon. Pisces is all about balance, the inner state of your being from a standpoint of especially masculine and feminine energies. So a lot of my clients, including myself in this, is really tapping into this goddess energy and this grace and this fluid flow, flexibility, and fun type energy, and doing it from a place of passion and grace, and having taken this inward dive to connect to the inner self, which is all of the emotional aspects of who we are and who we're becoming. So we're really tapping in and integrating with those emotional aspects so that we can then embrace them, embody them, enjoy the process of becoming those attributes of ourselves that have not been awakened for so long. This is happening both masculine and feminine. This is happening from a place of your inner knowing, your inner ability to connect to yourself, your source. And it's also happening with connecting to those around you and creating better relationships, and really also that lineage of clearing that bloodline and changing the cultural conditions. And as it's happening here in this energy, bringing balance within to help create the harmony with everything around you, I've been shown that this is like a way to increase your magnetic presence right now that will then help you magnetically come into alignment with more of that highest good. But in order to do that, it requires you really discovering who that true, authentic self is. You know, we've been asking ourselves in this death and rebirth process over and over again is, who am I? After each layer that's been peeled back, it's taken a look inside and seeing what's left, what's working, what's not, looking at what do you really desire in your future, and making sure that you bring in the new things into your life. If you're creating space, make those things coming in represent a place of the newest, highest version of you. So many people are not wanting to, they're making sure they don't want to repeat patterns. And so, you know, when it comes to discovering who you are and what you desire, it's really important to really kind of connect to the idea of what you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to have. So in addition to the 4 ways that I'm going to share with you today to help you step into that true you, I also would highly recommend that you take note and write down 11 things that you want to be, 11 things that you want to do, and 11 things that you want to have. And if you're in a place that your life is still cluttered and congested with chaos, I would highly recommend you take a look at 11 things that you want to release. This is going to be so important going forward. And everyone is always asking, and the biggest thing I hear is, I am here, I've shed the skin, or I still have more to shed, and I know there's something more, but I don't exactly know what that is. But I want more fulfillment. I just don't know how to really get from where I am to where I want to be. So these 4 ways to use this energy now will help you transition from who you are to who you're becoming. So before I share with you those 4 ways that can help you step into that new identity and be able to be your true self, I want to briefly just bring up and talk about the idea of how you've been unhappy with who you are now or where you are now. Maybe you feel like you haven't attained in life the amount of success that you think you should have attained by now. But I want you to know there's not one thing that you haven't done or where you're at that won't be a part of what's going to get you to where you're going. This is about that this path is unfolding, and it's about taking all of the pieces of everything you've done has become a collection of who you are and who you are becoming, so that you can basically define what it is you don't want, or let's say identify what it is you don't want, so you can redefine what it is you want. Because sometimes there's things that we wouldn't know if we that we want if we didn't know we didn't want something. It always goes kind of hand in hand. And in this process, of course, there's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days. And we need to embrace the idea that good and bad is going to exist. But even if it's a bad day, does not mean that you are not good enough for who you are, what you want, where you want to go. So as you come into terms with this true you, you need to shift your focus into the awesomeness that you are, into the person that you truly are. So, everything outside of your, say, your surroundings, the materialistic things around you, or what's going on in your life, those are only reflections of who you've been. They don't represent who you are. What represents who you are and who you're becoming is the choices you make today. And it takes a series of choices, a series of actions that will recreate who you are. And as we're always evolving, this process is going to change and evolve and move. And, along the way, you're going to identify some really unique parts of yourself that you didn't even know were there. So instead of looking at what you don't have, the chaos around you, where you haven't achieved what you think you should have achieved by now, pay attention to the special things about yourself, the gifts you bring into the world, the difference. All of us as twin flames came here as black sheep of the family so that we can break down the old generational and cultural templates to recreate. We're breaking the mold. That makes us different. That makes us special. So instead of looking at this and comparing who we're not to these other people, start looking at the uniqueness in yourself and realizing that you are different in your own unique way, and you have special talents and gifts, and no one can be like you. And there's no one in this world that could take your place. So the first strategy for you to attempt to achieve, to come into the confidence within your own skin, would be to know that you are special, and to know that you are a creation in itself. You are an extension of the light and the love of God. And all you did was choose to create an experience to put you through these things. And if you're like me, to hell and back again. And the resistance that I even personally took to get from where I was to where I'm at. I'm always telling clients that come, they feel like they're pain, or they feel like they could be the only resistant person, or the most resistant person maybe that I have. And I let all of them know, you guys are reflections of me. And on this journey, there's been no one I have ever ran across that is more resistant to all of this change of stepping into who I am and becoming my authentic real self than me. And so because of that, I can sit here and tell you that your greatest resistance in all of this change is going to put you into your greatest breakthrough. So the more, whatever you're resisting is only coming there to create this breakthrough, to bring you into more of your own ability to accept more of who you are, to create your own belief systems, to determine what you like and what you don't like, rather than having everything and everyone around you project their own limitations, their own thoughts, feelings, and emotions onto you. And you are magnetic in that. So the second way that you can really step into the true you is to look at the bright side of things. Look at who the true essence of yourself, that your accomplishments that you have made. Stop focusing on your limitations. Stop focusing on your failures. Start focusing forward and remembering to stop comparing yourself to others around you that maybe have looked like on the outside that they've achieved something more than you, better than you. But in all reality, you are exactly where you need to be. And these circumstances aren't happening to you, they're happening for you, so that you can realize that inside of you is a part of you that has not come to light yet. And it's coming to light in order for you to learn to love that side of you, even if it's been a weakness or if it's been a shadow. It's bringing light to it to clear out what isn't working so you can begin to take action for what is. And to know that on the bright side of things, no matter what's going on in your life, it could always be worse. That's one of the things that's really helped me. There's been so many times I've been in so much darkness, not being able to see past anything in my own life. But I've always, when I say see past anything in my own life, I kind of mean at times where I couldn't see outside of where I was. And to be able to, from that place, feel like, well, this might be hell right now, and this might be as good as it gets. And if that is the case, then at least I can make the best out of the situation. Okay? You may not be able to change things going on around you, but the only thing you really can change is inside. And to stop comparing yourself to someone you're not. Stop comparing yourself to the things that you don't have. And just to know it's perfect where you are, because it's the pressure. In when they talk about diamonds, it takes a lot of refining and a lot of pressure on that diamond to create the beauty of it is. And we are all diamonds in the rough. And it's about peeling back the layers and then getting rid of all the parts around that's blocking that light inside of us from shining. And then being able to polish that light, to be able to raise our light and our frequency to the bright side of who we are, so we can connect to that part of our light at the highest version and see our best self, see our best side, see the brightest side of everything, and know that if it's anything less than that, we're just looking in the wrong place. So the third strategy that you can use in order to be able to step into the true you and use this full moon energy to amplify that work is to be able to make a conscious choice to act like a success. Consider yourself a success. In Mary Kay that I was in years ago, they taught us that fake it till you make it. And one of the stories that Mary Kay Ash had always taught people is that she would give out those bumblebees as like the little rewards. And the bumblebee was told its body was too big, its wings are too small, and scientifically it should never lift off the ground and never fly. But it can. And in that, we are like these bumblebees that have the ability in this darkest pit of hell, in this twin flame journey that we chose and contracted to come here to experience. We have accomplished things just in the process of signing up for it and to be here to change humanity and to be here to having accomplished the assignment of clearing your karma and helping to change the karma for the universe and to recreate these templates. And you need to stop basically looking at your flaws. Remember that you have strengths and abilities and sensibility, and you are a winner by your birthright. It is meant for you to accomplish whatever you want and to turn your victimhood into a victory. And the only person that can do that is you. And it does start by the virus of the mind. And, even when it comes to money, and a lot of people look at the amount of money you make as success or not successful, but money is a mindset. Money is energy. It doesn't matter what is going on in your life. Everything is energy. And it all comes from the basis of the mind creating the thought, and the thought creating the feeling, and the feeling creating an emotion that becomes your vibration. And that's what's turning your lights on to raise your frequency, to become magnetic, and to attract towards you the success that you deserve. And the fourth thing that you need to do during this full moon and beyond is to take your lid off the jar. And what that means is that you're putting a limitation on yourself. This story that I'm about to share with you came from my yoga instructor a couple days ago that I thought was brilliant. And she had watched a little clip of Steve Harvey share his journey of how you can reach your greatest potential. And one of the things that he talked about, and I'm going to put a link to this little 5-minute video below about taking your lid off the jar, is that fleas are the highest vertical leaping insect that there is. And that basically, if you were to take, though, as an experiment, and you were to put adult fleas inside of a jar, they would basically jump and they would hit their head on the jar, on the lid. And so they would not keep doing that. They would adjust to the environment, and they would limit their ability to how high that they could jump. Then in addition to that, if those fleas had baby fleas, those baby fleas would be born with the potential to jump that 36-inch vertical leap that they have the ability to do, and just as great as their parents. But because their parents aren't jumping at their highest level of capacity, and what they were taught and what they watch and what they see, they never use their fullest capacity of their own potential because they won't jump any higher than their parents will in that jar. And Steve in this video talks about how he had went to school and was asked to write on a piece of paper basically what he wanted to be in his identity when he grew up. And he wrote that he wanted to be on TV. And so where he was supposed to be getting what he thought was a star for what he had wrote, and when the teacher was giving out stars for this, he basically got bashed by the teacher and was put down in front of all the kids about every reason why it was not possible and not realistic to say, you're going to grow up and be on TV. So he got sent home with a note on him to his parents, and his mother was upset because the teacher got onto him and said, wait till your father finds out, and wanted to punish him. And so the father says, well, what did you write in the paper? And he says, I wrote that I want to be on TV when I grow up. And the father looked at the mother and basically says, well, what if that's what you want, then why limit yourself? Why not have the ability to believe that, And looked at the mother also and said, well, what does his teacher know? His teacher, why should she have basically be able to dictate who he becomes when he grows up? See, we allow our family, we allow our friends, we allow our environment to dictate our level of success. And we become those fleas in that jar that keep hitting our head on that lid. And it's time to take the lid off, people. in this whole twin flame journey, you're putting a lid on the capacity of who you are, your potential. And I have to tell you, like, I'm hitting some of the greatest parts of the potential that I have, like, to date. But that is only because I have learned to, like, remove this lid. And I want to teach you and share with you in that you also need to take that lid off. So I want to remind you that you are a uniquely created being. You have special talents, skills, and gifts. You came here to fulfill a purpose in your life. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't allow your limitations, your family conditions, your environment, the cultural conditions, society right now with everything going on. You need to learn that what you put out there is what you get back. And if you want something different back, then you need to start putting out what it is you want. So you can design the life, the love in your life, and all of the things that you really want to achieve. And you have the capability inside of you. Use this powerful, powerful full moon, the super full moon that only happens once every 3 years, because it is a corn moon, and that puts us at next month in October having 2 full moons, with one falling on Halloween, and this only happens once every 3 years. So basically, start planting some corn. And you don't plant corn and get tomatoes. What you put out there, you get back. So what you want, you need to be putting out in your thoughts, your feelings, in your actions. That will bring you back everything that you desire. And I'm a living testament that that's to be true. So make sure that you check out my Reinvent the New You online course that is below. You will not want to miss it. It is very powerful. It will really help you transform the energy of who you've been and let that go so you can love who you are, to be able to then open up and embrace who you're becoming. It's a beautiful, beautiful online course that I created. So check that out below. Make sure to like, comment, share the shine. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you know whenever I post my upcoming videos. And I will see you in the next video. And may you always face your fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Namaste.